So we all understand and acknowledge that circular economy is at its heart about decoupling growth, be that growth of our cities or growth of our businesses, from resource consumption. And today I'm going to talk about 5 pretty tangible, real projects that we've been working on in which we've implemented some of these principles. But before I go into those projects, there's something I really wanted to emphasize, and it builds on what Pablo just mentioned, which is the fact that circular economy is not just about sustainability, it's not just about design. And in the built environment, a lot of the conversation up to now is really focused on design. We're not going to succeed in getting the circular economy transition embedded throughout the industry if we don't also talk about value and don't also talk about business models. And a key part of that business model story for us started back in 2014 with the London Infrastructure Plan. This was the first time that the city had tried to project what its infrastructure needs would be forward to 2050. And that plan covered all sectors of infrastructure. So we're talking about transport, mobility, we're talking about waste, water, energy, communications. So as part of this project, we developed a bespoke costing tool that estimated the cost of that infrastructure program at about £1.3 billion. And under the waste stream, particularly the costs were looking pretty extortionate. So what our team did is model sort of 4 circular uptake scenarios, which charted different levels of circular uptake in the city and estimated the cost savings associated with that uptake. If you produce less waste, you need less infrastructure, you save a lot of money. And the estimate of that was that the city of London on the highest model will save about £5 billion over the 30 years from circular economy uptake. Zooming out from the city level, we also acknowledge that circular economy needs to operate at national economy level. And working with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation and McKinsey, we considered how circular economy could be applied across Chinese cities in 5 economic sectors that covered more than 50% of the Chinese economy. These sectors, built environment, textiles, nutrition, electronics and mobility, and we've modeled them financially, but also environmentally to identify what the benefits would be of adopting a circular economy development trajectory in China. The benefits are pretty staggering. By 2030, we estimated a benefit of $5.2 trillion US. By 2040, a benefit of $11.1 trillion US, at the same time as reducing greenhouse gases by up to 23%, and halving the amount of particulate matter being emitted in the country, so really improving air quality as well. Now, zooming back in, circular economy is only going to work if it also operates at our local plan level and at district level, neighbourhood level. So we needed to consider how we apply circular economy principles at that district level. Old Oak Common and Park Royal is Europe's largest urban development area, with a master plan to deliver about 25,500 new homes and 50,000 new jobs over the next 20 years. We worked on considering what circular economy would mean for living and working in the new district, and created 4 scenarios covering biological waste, biological nutrients, which is the Royal Garden scenario, but also tech development, sharing communities and the built environment, to demonstrate really what it would mean to operate in a circular economy, live in a circular economy, work in a circular economy. And we think this kind of model is really, really important, because we are only going to get buy-in from people outside the converted, as it were, if we're able to show really tangibly what it means for people on that level. Now, most of us work on projects most of the time, so coming down from district level, we also need to apply circular economy at project level. HS2, the new high-speed railway for the UK, have led the market very much by considering which circular economy principles are most relevant to them, and identifying the infrastructure maintenance depot in phase 1 of HS2 as a key opportunity for applying those principles. We worked with them to create a resource flow analysis to identify and prioritize circular economy principles on the infrastructure maintenance depot across the 4 stages of its life cycle. Its build out as a construction head for the fit out of the systems-wide infrastructure for phase 1, but then also its operation as an infrastructure maintenance depot across the 60 years or 120 years of the life cycle. The benefits here, we estimated that applying circular economy would reduce upfront costs by 8%, reduce virgin material consumption by 10%, and reduce construction and demolition waste creation by half, 50%. But we also, of course, have to remember that circular economy, in the words of William McDonough, is not just about being less bad, but also about being more good. So working with the city of Madrid, we created a concept called Madrid Plus Natural, which was it's a concept of a series of small, incremental, but long-term interventions in the city to improve or boost its green and blue infrastructure. These blue and green infrastructure enhancements would help Madrid adapt to a changing climate, improving metrics and indicators across things like human and health and well-being, biodiversity, reducing flood risk, reducing the urban heat island effect. So while we've been sort of working on some of these great projects, we also acknowledge that there's more to do. So we're working with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation and the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors to sort of emphasize what the business case would be for circular economy at the building asset level in a project called Principles and Practices. And we're also working with the BITC Circular Economy Task Force to consider, through a series of pilot projects, what circular economy means for building occupants and building developers. So if anyone's got a project, please come up to speak to myself or Alex or Libby, who's down at the back. Thank you very much for listening.